Good morning, everyone. Observation King with you here again. Now, today is a very beautiful day. It's rather sunny outside, and the temperature is somewhat mild. It's not too hot, but it's not too cold. So, I'm feeling pretty good today, and I hope it's the same for you guys. Now, this morning, I'll actually be doing a little bit of sowing of some broad beans over here, which I actually got from my favorite seed supplier known as Premier Seeds Direct. They're a very lovely seed supplying company. I've never had any problems with them. They have really cheap seeds, and more often than not, they actually have free delivery too as well. And I'm just very impressed with the quality of their seeds, and I've been buying from them for a little while now. And as you can see, the broad bean variety I have here is a variety called Karmazin, and this is a variety that becomes pink when you actually harvest it, as opposed to the normal green varieties like Masterpiece or I forget the name of the other green variety of broad bean that is usually quite popular, but there's two that I know of that people usually get. But I decided to get something a little bit more rare than that, and that's known as Karmazin. Now I've counted my seeds in total, and I have about 51 seeds in here. So I'm going to be planting all of these eventually. But just to start us off now, since we're in the third week of February, at this point in time, we're going to start off with just 10 seeds, and I'm going to be using an old, well, I can't say egg carton because it's not actually a cardboard, but essentially a egg container. And instead of throwing this away, I'm actually reusing it. And if you take a look, it literally resembles a seed tray quite well. There's individual cells, it's the right depth, and there's even a lid that you can close it with, and then that acts as a sort of a natural, or not a natural, but sort of like a all-in-one propagator. So you have the seed tray, and then you've got the lid that covers the soil and the seeds or seedlings, and that keeps it a little bit warmer than if it was just open like this. And considering it's transparent, aside from some of the stickers that are of course on top of it, it lets a good amount of light in. So I figured this would have been perfect to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this with a little bit of topsoil over here, which is actually from J. Arthur Bauer's topsoil. This is lovely. I used this last year. It's the same bag from last year, actually. If you guys have been watching my videos, you would know. And the bag is almost empty, actually, but there will be enough to fill this container over here with some soil, and we'll just put our beans in there. Now, a lot of people do use either multi-purpose compost, vermiculite, or some sort of other growing medium like just simple potting soil. All of that works very well. I have used a topsoil to start off my seedlings last year, and it worked perfectly fine. I had no problem with that. I find that growing the seeds, whatever seeds you're using, just starting them off in a particular medium, I find that I'm not very picky, or the seeds themselves are not very picky as to what they want. It's only after they grow bigger and you transplant them that what you put them in is actually important, at least in my experience. It might be different for you guys, but in my experience, what you start them in is not as important as what they're going to be in later on in their life. So without further ado, I will be putting some soil in this, and then we'll be sowing some beans in here. Alright, so I filled the egg container with some topsoil. As you can see, if I get a little closer here, it's rather dry, as you would expect. And what I will do now is I'll simply just get just 10 seeds out of that and put one bean in each cell, because beans, as you may or may not already know, have an incredibly high germination rate. So it doesn't actually make a lot of sense for you to put two beans in one cell, because when you put one bean in soil, there's almost a 100% chance that that bean will actually germinate. As I'm actually saying this from experience. I've been growing beans for many years, and every bean I've ever planted has always grown. I've never had a bean that's never grown. So yeah, so it makes sense to just put one bean in one cell. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open this up. Let me see if I can do this with one hand here. Okay, it's probably not going to work. Bear with me. Okay, so I open the bag now, and what we're going to do is we're just simply going to put one bean in one cell. And as you can see on the camera, these beans actually have a very lovely color. So what I'm going to do right now is just put one bean in one cell, and I'll just continue doing that until the end. Just make a small hole in there, put the bean in there, and then we'll cover that with more soil in the end. So don't worry about it for now. We'll just put a little bit more soil in there later on. So I'm just going to continue doing that until I'm done. So here we are, and we have 10 beans inside this, 1 in each cell. That looks beautiful. So I'm just going to cover that with a little bit more topsoil, and then we'll just go ahead and just use our spray bottle over here to just water that, and then we should be done. We'll just put that on the windowsill, and that will literally be it. So that is basically it. Now that we've done that, we've covered the seeds very well. We're just going to take our spray bottle over here, and we're just going to give it a little bit of water. So what I'll do is I'll put my trowel on top of the lid here just to keep it down. Hopefully that works. Yep. And then we will just simply give the beans a bit of a spray. Not too heavy, but we want to give them a little something. Let me try and see if I can change the setting here. There we go. That's a little easier, isn't it? Give it a nice little soaking. We don't want to overdo it, but we want to give it something nonetheless. There we go. So here you can see some of the beans are slightly showing out of the soil, but that's okay. If needed, I'll just put a small amount of soil over that again just to cover it properly, and then that's literally all we need to do. So yeah, I'm just going to give it a little bit more water, and then that should be it. So that's literally it. I've given it slightly more water. A small amount of topsoil has been applied on the cells once again. And that's about it. So now we're going to just put this on my windowsill, and that should be perfectly fine and ready to germinate within about a week to 10 days. So that is me sowing my Karmazin broad bean seeds, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace.